Good morning. If I have not introduced myself already, my name is Clifford Adams. And today we are in Omaha, Nebraska. Now that's going to be interesting for this topic because this topic today is talking about black on black violence. Afro-Americans in this country are 4 times more likely to commit violence against each other and more likely to be murdered. And out of those numbers, 4 out of 5 are murdered. What's even more staggering is that it's specifically with guns. Another reason why this is important, why I tell you where I am today, is because we are in the city that has been masked by the simple fact that it is dubbed in the top 5 in places to live, in top 10 to raise your family in the United States. Also, top 5 to get a job. And all these statistics may be true. Maybe. Because that's also debatable from a year-to-year basis. But one thing that is not debatable, one thing that is absolute fact when it comes to this city is, as of this year, Omaha, Nebraska has been considered murder capital of the United States. Fact. Here goes another fact for you. The state of Nebraska in general has the highest rate of black on black violence in the country. That's shocking for some of you to hear, considering it is the Midwest. An average of 34 and a half are killed per 100,000. Now, take that in consideration. There's only 2.5 million people in the entire state. And the 3 biggest cities are Omaha, Lincoln, and Lincoln Memorial Stadium. Just to fill you guys in, Lincoln Memorial Stadium is where the Nebraska Cornhuskers play football on Saturday. That is the 3rd largest city in the state. And that place seats about 90,000. So that should give you an idea about how these numbers come to be. What also you need to know is the national numbers before we come back to the city of Omaha in general. The national average is that 17 and a half black people are killed per 100,000. Now, mind you, this is black on black violence. This isn't black on white. This is black on black. 4.4% represents the overall number of all people linked in together in the country. And there's only a 2.6 percentage per 100,000 for white Americans. Now, why is this important as I go back to the original, as I'm talking about this particular city in Omaha, Nebraska? It becomes widely important because as of March of this year, this city was also considered the worst place in America to look like this. Here's what the problem is. And when you have a vast majority of the Afro-Americans that live in this state live in one entire section of an entire city, that becomes a problem. Right now, I'm in historic Florence, to be exact. And Florence, although as beautiful as it is, if you head a few blocks further, it's no good for you. Plain and simple, what I'm trying to tell you is that This violence needs to stop, and it needs to stop immediately. Most black males do not ever see the age of 21 years old. And even if they see the age of 21, 4 out of 5 have already been incarcerated. Why is that? A lot of that is because of it starts with parenting. And we're not gonna shy away from this. Over half of all Afro-American households are being raised by single parents, whether that be a single mom or a single dad, or being raised by other parental figures, a la a aunt, an uncle, a grandmother, or a grandfather. And some of us are actually raising ourselves from an early age and raising our siblings. When you have that in itself, that is a recipe for disaster. And that is a topic for another conversation as we talk about the black American home. That's another topic for another conversation. But as I stick to the topic on this one, what also plays into the factors of this violence is education. When you come home, when you leave your house life, your home life is already terrible. So you go to a place in which, quite honestly, you feel does you no good. And let us face it, people of all races, I think, in school are not learning anything. And let us face facts, they're not learning the truth about their own country. So how do you expect them to be smart and expect them to carry on our spirit after we leave? A lot of Afro-Americans feel that school is not important to them. It feels forced. And it feels forced when you don't feel you're learning anything. And quite honestly, a book doesn't exactly pay your bills. When the only role models that you see in a lot of these areas are your pimps, your corner hustlers, your people moving weight. When those are the only people you see doing well for themselves, it's kind of hard to want to go to school and read a book. It's kind of hard to want to get a way out. But I want everyone to know that these are not excuses for why these things happen. These are the facts in which these things happen. But we should not continue condoning them. Another factor in all this is our own inability to take accountability for our own actions. Yes, I'm going to say it again. Our own inability to take responsibility for our actions. A lot of people, we're going to talk about this for a minute. This is what's honest. Unless we are able and willing to help ourselves, there is no way in hell that anyone else is going to. For some of us, we need to stop feeling sorry for ourselves. The woe is me, the white man holding us down, some of this BS we should really drop. I'm not saying that it does not happen. But what I'm telling you is that it is not an excuse. I can consider myself being raised differently than most because I have a mom, a dad, a stepmom, and a stepdad. And I look at all different views. I look at my dad who lives in my hometown, who lives in our hometown, Silsbee, Texas. For all of you guys that are down there that are watching, I hope you guys are doing well. Hard-working guy. My dad dropped out his senior year in high school. Hard-working. Nobody works harder than him. But He's the epitome of somebody who works hard even though he had no education because he felt the education wasn't going to help him. I look at his wife, my stepmother, graduate of Texas A&M University, and she is a sister as well. And I'm not going to say what sorority she's in, but let's just say they're probably the most recognizable female sorority on the planet, regardless of race. Let's look at my mom. Self-made, she became self-made. For a while, she works 3 jobs. By herself at times. But now she is a minister. She owns a daycare. I look at my stepdad, who is indeed white. And if you're watching, Mr. Johnson, I wanted to say hello to you too. But he is the person I think helped mostly shape how, in a sense, to look at everything, not just from my perspective, but look at it from all perspectives. Self-made, businessman, college degree. My mother, college degree. Stepmother, college degree. Now, why is this important for me to tell you guys this? Is because all 4 of them came from areas where they were very, very poor. Golden Triangle of Texas is not easy to grow up in. Whether you be in Beaumont, whether you be in Port Arthur, whether you be in Orange. Not easy. Living in some of the worst parts of America growing up, they weren't easy. But I want you guys to understand that education is indeed a factor in which this violence happens, because it's a lack of it. And when you take the funding on a lot of these schools and you only push it towards athletics, then there's the problem. Because you're trying to say being an athlete is more important than you getting your diploma. No. It is important to get your education. Because whether anybody likes it or not, you, to some degree, do indeed need it. My people, what we also need to look at and address is the systemic poverty. Jobs is probably the main reason, if not the main reason, of all this violence. I can honestly tell you, in North Omaha, there is not a lot of jobs. There really isn't. The majority of your jobs consist of working at McDonald's, KFC, Popeyes, Sonic, maybe a BP or a Shell, or being a barber. There's not too many jobs in North Omaha, so you have to travel clear across town in a lot of these in order to even have a job. And let's just say you don't have a vehicle. The transportation system does not even travel completely across town because it only goes as far northwest as 120th and Blondo. It goes as far west as 168th and Center, which would be Lakeside. But the buses, in order to get there, you're going to be on the bus for 2.5 hours. And that's just to work. So think about it. If you get off past about 9 and 10 o'clock, you're not going to have a ride because the buses don't run that late. So the job opportunities lack as well. So think about it. Lack of work, no education, no family structure. You tell me what's going to happen. Again, like I said, these are not excuses. These are the facts. And if you try to ignore them, then you are indeed, by definition, an ignorant one. What I also want you guys to look at and realize is this honestly can only be fixed with the help of our own. So my next question would be, where are our leaders? I'm going to be very honest. We don't have any. Because if all of you are going to think the Al Sharptons and Jesse Jacksons of the world are coming to save you, they're not. And let us be honest, the only time you see them is on television after another black kid gets murdered by some cop or by some idiot who's wielding a damn gun because he decided to feel he wanted to kill a nigga today. But black people, we also need to stop having this fake hate. Now, what I mean by fake hate, quite simple. Don't wait till something bad happens to want to pull together and then we want to march. Some of you are going to agree with me when I say this. The "We Shall Overcome" singing and the marching and the dancing, that time is over. They are not listening to you. Ferguson is a perfect example of why they don't give a damn about your marching. If you want to take an example, why don't you take example from Caucasian America? March with your guns. Why don't you come with a gun to a gunfight? I'm not advocating violence, but the only thing that you can deal with violence is with, indeed, more violence. Because we've tried the Martin Luther King sitting down and being peaceful and to turn our other cheek routine. It has failed. It is quite simple, people. As black Americans, you need to educate yourself. You need to learn on what's going on in the community. And stop thinking that the Illuminati is the reason why everybody's doing what they're doing. Or, well, it doesn't matter how I vote. Well, it doesn't matter how I vote, because they're going to do what they want to do anyway. Turn off the Love and Hip Hop Atlanta. Turn off that bullshit. And I don't even want you to even watch the local news, to be quite honestly. I want you to pick up a book, get on the internet and do some research. Get off your damn couch, stop playing the Call of Duty. Put some clothes on and get outside. Start being proactive instead of just plain reactive. Your vote matters. It starts with that right there. If you are not registered to vote, quite honestly, shut the hell up. Because you do not have the right to complain when something doesn't go your way. For those of you playing Call of Duty, put the controller down. Find out what the hell is going on around you. Because I'm going to be very honest. I am tired of my friends taking stray bullets over you freaking idiots who want to get back at JoJo and them because they shot a fellow gang member who doesn't mean shit to you if you get locked up. Who's not going to help you take care of your children if you die today. Who's going to be sleeping with your girl instead of helping your girl when she needs help from the people. Do y'all hear what I'm saying? Wake the hell up. Do not wait for the government to give you a handout in order for you to make something of yourself. You should want to get up and work. You will make more money doing that than sitting on your ass collecting a free check. I think some of you are legitimately bored. So here's how you cure your boredom. Get up. Go to the gym. Go work out. Do some reading. Go to the library. Go do some writing. Get up and vote. Do some research on your people. How about you help out your fellow brother and sister? And if you really love them like you say you do, then you wouldn't turn around and shoot them. Because I know some of you are angry about this violence with, the police brutalities, and so am I. But do not be angry at that and turn around and turn a blind eye to what you do to yourself. I want it to be known that my name is Clifford M. Adams Jr. I am 28 years old. I am a college graduate from the University of Houston. And enough is enough. If you are within the sound of my voice, I want you to do me a couple favors. I want you to put your guns down. Put your knives, your bats, your guns. Put your crack, weed, meth, shrooms, heroin, Molly, put them down. Take your red, blue, black, yellow, pink, white rags off. Turn your hats forward. Put on a button-up shirt and some slacks. Pull yourselves together. Walk out of that house and make a difference with me. Because I want you guys to realize that this world does not just evolve around you. I want to give my condolences to the family of Janae Hayden. Joshua, for watching. I want to say hello. To the 5-year-old girl that was killed while eating breakfast in the living room. To all the other brothers, sisters that are being killed no matter where you are. By your own people. We can do this together. But it is our problem. And it is for us to solve.